Rand Paul just said something, and I thought you'd be interested.
God.
Rand Paul said, the Speaker of the House,
Oh, my God.
as you know,
Rand Paul said
debating.
something. Oh, my God, let me stop what I'm doing and let me stop what I'm doing and listen to that monkey. Okay, go ahead.
All right. This is what he said. The Speaker of the House need not be a member of Congress, because there's a lot of debate about who the next Speaker of the House may be. Nothing would disrupt the swamp more than electing Elon Musk. Think about it. Nothing's impossible. Not to mention the joy of seeing the collective establishment, a.k.a. the Uniparty, lose their ever-loving minds. Tom Sosnoff, what say you? Do you support the idea of Elon Musk as Speaker of the House?
I support, well, yeah, because it would be the end of, it would basically be the end of democracy. So sure, I support it. And it'd be the end
of democracy.
It would be the end of.
Bro, will you get rid of that phrase?
It would be.
I know.
Kill that phrase in your vocabulary.
It would be. It would be here.
So bad. Look at the long-haired hippie freak. Is
It would
like
be
this saying of 1960 now.
It would be.
I mean,
it would be an exceptional moment that probably would put a cap in the whole Republican platform. I'll put it to you that way. But if you really want to do it, go ahead.
don't you like that they want to shake things up a little bit? That things, I mean, like
no, I don't like the fact that I don't like the fact that the richest man in the world can buy his way into being Speaker of the House. No, I don't like it. Sorry, I'm sorry I'm sorry that you think that's okay.
What
I've noticed?
I'm sorry that you guys both think that that's okay.
Just a multi
I'm sorry that you guys both think that that's okay. I mean,
what's the
I'm
difference
sad for
between
you.
those two people?
I'm
like a
sad that you-
multi-millionaire and the richest man in the world.
I'm sad that you think that
what is the difference between
there's
those
a big difference because it means that the integrity of our entire democracy is at stake here. It means that the integrity of everything that you believe in and the reason that you have the opportunity that you have right now, it can be bought and sold. And I'm sorry that you don't recognize that, either of you guys.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because that was a trap and you just fell into it.
I
am curious.
What?
I am curious. What is the difference? So I just want to understand. Help me understand, because I'm missing something. What's the difference between Elon Musk spending a couple $100 million in 2024 and that being a threat to democracy? But when Zuckerberg spent $400 million in 2020, there were no issues and none of this rhetoric from you
Bloomberg spent
about
$1 billion
the threat to
to try to
democracy.
be
He ran for president. He didn't spend $1 billion, but nice try. But anyway, it's not even close to the same thing. Okay, so don't even don't try to put it together.
Though?
First of all, Zuckerberg didn't spend $400 million doing. I have no idea what you're even talking about. Okay,
I know you don't. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, I know, but there's because
you
you're
know
just
everything
making up
about Elon's
because you're just making up a number, and Elon's 200 and something, and Elon's 200 and something million has nothing. That is not the issue here. What the issue is that it only costs 200 and something million to make billions, and maybe more than that, hundreds of billions. And basically,
I know. I watched
to control.
I loved your segment. with Dylan yesterday, and that was the only little area where I disagreed. Is you brought up the money that Elon was spending to have influence, but you were acting as if Dems are the only ones with the clean shirt. And I'm like, does he not know that Elon?
I was not acting like that. I was not.
$400 million in the last go around, and that didn't seem to be.
I'm not going to argue this.
According to ABC News, former Mayor Michael Bloomberg spent $1 billion on roughly a 100-day presidential campaign.
Hey, if you're running for president, spend whatever you want of your own money. He didn't raise any money for anybody. He didn't. He didn't take any.
I'm just saying, I wasn't wrong.
All right, what else you got, Victor?
All right, let's do this. I told you this was like the
I told you he was ready for I was ready for a broken jaw, and it was Ken Norton. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it.
I got one more, and then I'll make it actionable on yesterday's. What my thoughts on yesterday? But last one, Biden called for a ban on congressional stock trading yesterday by all politicians.
Okay.
And I'm curious now that this seems to be getting real. At some point, it was like people wanted a pound of flesh. Now the sitting president is calling for a congressional stock trading ban. We've talked about this several times in the past, but I thought I'd pause for a moment to give you a moment to give your
I'm
thought.
not going to change my stance on this one bit. I am strongly opposed to a congressional ban on stock trading. I want every single person in whatever branch of government to be able to trade whatever they want to trade, whenever they want to trade, in whatever market they want to trade. I think it's critical to understanding and preserving the integrity of our market structure. So I do not like the fact that Biden called for a ban on congressional stock trading because I think it's a mistake.
Do you think he's just sticking it to the people who he felt wronged him and pushing him out? You think that's a kind of a FU to Pelosi on his way out the door?
No, I do not think that. I think it's more of, I think he's just focusing on some things that he can say are part of his legacy. I don't think there's anything else to it. And I don't think this is an anti-Pelosi thing, even though, it's clear their relationship has turned cold and soured, but I don't really care about that. I don't care if this is a spite thing or whatever it is for him. I don't like it because I want people, I love when people trade no matter who they are and whatever it is. So I'm never going to be in support of any kind of a ban on trading.
You changed my mind on this, if I could say that. What I believe there is a problem only because there's a perception of the problem. Whether you believe, Nancy Pelosi's up like 95% this year, whether you think that's because she's a good trader or just because she's
lucky,
levered up on NVIDIA and that's the way that the chips fell
she
this year.
Levered up on some underlyings and she held them. You know what? We can sit there and say, I can't do that. I think I'm a better trader than Nancy Pelosi, but I can't buy NVIDIA and hold it for 2 years. That's freaking hard.
Or have the timing like the day before it moves like that. But hey, to Tom's point, he was right. The Mark Zuckerberg did not spend $400 million. According to sources that would be favorable to Tom, it was Zuckerberg and his wife that gave the $400 million to two nonprofit organizations that then helped elect Biden and others in the party.
You guys are so funny.
Thank you, Tony. Tony, you're the best.
So it wasn't Mark Zuckerberg, it was Mark Zuckerberg and his wife.
Oh, you guys crack me up.
You are the only one doing any service to the fact checker name. All the rest of them, they're not worth their salt.
I like how you guys are fact checkers when fact checking matters to you. From the party of no fact checking, all of a sudden when fact checking works, you want to do fact checking now? That would be a dangerous thing. That would be a dangerous thing for all the right wing nutcases to start doing is fact checking.
I could say the same thing back to you. I like how you love fact checking, except when somebody goes, "Hey, you were totally wrong about the $400 million whole thing," and now what do you have to say about your Elon versus Zuck contributions? But we'll leave that for another day.
Tom sounds a little bit like the girl that didn't get asked to the dance, doesn't he?
Here's my thing. I still think I came around. I agree with you, Tom. I don't think they should ban it. I think they should do two things. They should make these people pre-announce, and then I think anyone that doesn't pre-announce, because that's what they always do, right? They go, "Oh, I forgot to do my reporting, or I forgot to announce." What you should do is fine them 110% of the notional value of the trade plus 100% of any profits. So basically, it's all the notional value of a trade plus 10%, and then if they make any money, you take that back too. So we get out of this, "Oh, I forgot to file, sorry about that," and they just move on, they keep the profits, and nobody cares. What do you think about that, Tom? That's the solution in my mind. Pre-announce, and then stiff penalties that claw back all the notional and profits with a 10% premium, and that's how we solve this problem.
What is your point? What's the point? I don't get it. What are you trying to solve?
What am I trying to solve? The perception of impropriety.
I get that, but I just told you I don't think there's any impropriety. I don't understand where you guys are coming from when you think there's let them do whatever they want. I don't care.
I'm actually saying let them do whatever they want. All I'm saying is pre-report, pre-announce.
Why do you have to pre-announce? Just do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You want to make it transparent, make it transparent. But I don't even think you need to do that. I don't think that's fair to people. Just do whatever you want. Who cares? I don't care if you gave them the stupid numbers. If you told somebody what the Fed was going to do yesterday, the whole freaking world knew the Fed was going to lower by 25 basis points. You wouldn't have known what to do. Nobody did in the morning. I don't care what the idea that you can predict the way the market's going to do, what the market's going to do based on you knowing something is ridiculous.
It's a little bit different than what interest rates are going to do, or if I'm in a committee that's going to
do what?
Pass regulation that's going to be favorable to company ABC and not.
Was there some regulation that was favorable to NVIDIA going up 300%? 500%? 1,000%? I doubt it.
But I'm tired of fact checking you on everything.
I doubt it.
All right, last one. I'm gonna go market related real quick. So I know.
I mean, you thought Trump was going to drop out of the election. Let's go back to that. So I mean, you haven't been right since he didn't drop out. So why you continue?
I'm allowed to say whatever I want.
Of course, and I'm allowed to say the truth. I mean, what difference does it make?
Oh, please. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
All right, last thing. People think for whatever reason on days like yesterday, it's about whether they cut or whether they don't cut. But really, it's about the summary. In my personal opinion, it's about the summary of economic projections more than anything else. I mean, there was a 98% probability they were cutting yesterday. That was not news to anybody. And what did change yesterday in the Fed's expectations for 2025 was increased expectations of inflation. So they moved it up from, 2.1% to 2.5% next year. And they also moved up their Fed funds rate path from 2.9%. No. Fed funds rate path, they moved from 3.4% up to 3.9%. I had a typo in my notes. My quick point was that I don't really think anything they put out on that piece of paper was a shock to the marketplace. Other than their inflation targets for 2025 were very, very high. At 2.5%, with 2% real growth, you put those together, and you're looking at a 10-year yield around 4.5 to 4.6%, which is exactly where we're at right now. So I, like you, still like buying bonds, and this is probably going to be the trade that takes all my money in 2025.
It did to me. It did to me about 15 years ago when they went to 170.
So I don't understand. What's your question?
No question. I was just making yesterday actionable. I think nothing about the piece of paper they put in front of people should have shocked anyone. We'd been talking about the numbers that they'd put in that thing for the last 2 weeks, and we were dead on, with the exception of inflation being much higher. And I think if you look at their inflation expectation was 2.5%, and you look at their growth expectation, which is 2.1%, you would get a rough estimate of a 10-year yield at 4.6%, which is roughly where we are, 4.55. So I think unless you think inflation could be worse than 2.5, or you think growth is going to be much greater than 2.1, which is possible, we're at 3% now. But I think we're probably at a decent level between 4, 5, and 5 to go long bonds, and I've started to increase my bond position. And this will be the one perhaps I takes all my money, but I think for many different reasons, whether it's price or narrative or the piece of paper that the Fed put in front of people, I think this is a good range to get long.
Well, I think it's, if I liked him at 117 and 118, I'm going to like him more at 114. But actually, 113.28 right now.
You'll love him at 112 if we get there.
I think they're overdone, but we'll play the 24-hour rule and see if see what happens here. I mean, that's really all you can do.